Yo. Soundbar, sound working. Yep. All right. Can I get a holler at your boy from you, Anuj?
Holler at your boy.
Perfect. Looks beautiful. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hello and welcome. What is up? Welcome to episode 326 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Alt. And this is going to be the best episode ever. We have a packed e-news to get to. So packed, in fact, we had to split it up and do a very special edition of Clutch or Kick. We have a handful of those to get to as well. But before we get to any of that, I need to tell you about Alt Esports. Of course, they sponsor the show, so of course I'm going to tell you that they are the best apparel that your money can buy. But guess what? Even if I didn't have their love and support, I tell you that regardless, because it truly is the best clothing that you can purchase. You can go to altesports.com, pick a variety of supports. They have Sentinels, their new lineup, E-United, they have some of theirs as their official partners with E-United. Get some badass looking socks. Even last year's summer tee for E-United on sale right now. The color is coral. I have like 5 shirts that are already in coral, but if I didn't, I'd pick me up an E-United shirt in coral because you can't have too many coral t-shirts. So you could do that, altesports.com, and you let them know the Center Ring sent you.
Hey, it's Simple from Navi, and you're listening TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Alt. Episode 326 coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, May 5th, 2021. Happy Cinco de Mayo for all of those that it pertains to. The time, 9:14 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Our website, tcr.gg. In the description of Twitter, you will find our Discord link as well as a Patreon link. If you feel like you should support the show and do so there, we would greatly appreciate it. If not, you can always go on iTunes and also rate the show. That helps out as well. Or any other thing that you listen to us on. If it lets you rate, always give a thumbs up, right? That always helps. Never hurts. My name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, it's my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
We're one step away from being a solid YouTube intro. Like, if you hyped it up just a little bit more when you're asking for the Patreon or the likes, subscribes, if you add a little bit more energy to that, that would also be a good YouTube intro for us going forward.
I do solid intros. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt about it. I agree.
It's years and years of training being on radio, and a professional broadcaster I am.
That's the key. Professional.
Professional broadcaster. You don't need the hype. Let the content do the speaking.
Fair enough.
Plus, I'm just not that guy. Could you imagine if I was?
We wouldn't be doing the show together.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Center Ring Esports Podcast. Smash that like button. All right, let's go. And then you get some like generic copyright-free like dubstep. It's like.
And then you got me and Brett sitting on the other side of you on our first show. Like, what the hell is this?
No, it's just not me. Not me. And you know what? That's okay. There is one YouTuber called Sir Wade. He talks a lot about like animation and stuff like that. And I just watch him. I'm very interested in animation. It's a magic that to this day just baffles me how people can animate things. But he is does not get hyped up, and that's 99% of the reason why I chose him to be like
the guy.
I don't listen, if you have me subscribed on your YouTube, That deserves a plaque from YouTube in itself.
How many channels are you subscribed to?
I'll go look right now.
I'm gonna do the same.
I also don't. I'm not afraid to unsubscribe either.
Either am I. No, I have no.
There is no loyalty with my watching. Where is this?
Unsubscribe to 23 channels.
Where do you go to see this?
When I just go to YouTube, it's on the left side.
Oh, the left.
Subscription.
Are you including us? Because obviously I'm subscribed to us.
Yeah, I'm including us for sure.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay, so we're right around the
And
same.
of
ballpark.
that 16, though, I could tell you there's about 5 of them I could unsubscribe to right now and never notice.
Yeah, some of these are like subscriptions because I'm just supporting that individual, but I don't really like watch that content.
Like one's my buddy. He hasn't posted in like 2 years, right? But I will always, like, he's my bro. He's my buddy in real life. He actually makes good videos. Cray Tray, if you ever want to go look at his YouTube. But makes good stuff. He just stopped doing it. But then some of them, I don't know. I don't subscribe willy-nilly to YouTube. Or
It's like
Twitch
my
for that
highlight
matter.
channels or the game that I'm playing. There's specific people I'm following at that time. So
Right.
you're right though. I have no issues like subscribing and then unsubscribing if I'm not enjoying or watching that content anymore.
Right. Like this guy here, he'll remain nameless. I'm not going to drag his name through the mud. Unsubscribed. Right now, live on the show, unsubscribed. Just like that.
I got one. I got one I can do too. All right.
Done.
I'm still 2 away from you.
And it's liberating. I feel like when you like kind of do a spring cleaning, and this isn't just for YouTube, but just anything like that, right? Like Twitter, you kind of go through your follows and purge some of the things that you're like, dude, I scroll past your stuff every day and I don't even read it. Like, I see your thing. Now, YouTube has the beauty of muting as well, which is awesome. But so you can truly follow your friend and then immediately mute him so you never see his stuff. But no, I don't throw around subscriptions. But that's why when I tell people to subscribe to us, although I would like your throwaway subscription, but I also want you to mean it. You know? I want you to mean it when you follow.
I want you to watch the content, hopefully.
Watch the content, know what you're getting. We're not throwing loud sound effects at you. We're not asking you to get hyped. That's not who we are. You want us to get hyped? You get us in Valorant, okay? Then we'll get hyped. You will hear me hyped. That my wife always says, like, the only time you are ever excited in life is when you're playing video games with your friends. And I'm like, you're probably right.
I gotta save my energy for those moments because it drains you.
Yeah, like you're probably not far off. There was one time we took our now dog, who is old now. He's an old dog, but when he was a puppy, we took him to training. And the trainer was like, okay, I'm going to bring him over here. And then Tim, you go over there and try getting his attention so he runs to you. And, you know, I'm like, okay, Porter, come here. And she's like, no, you got to get excited. I was like, Porter, come here. And she's like, you got to get excited. And my wife was like, lady, this is it.
This is it. This
Like,
is what you're getting.
This is my husband excited. Like, his 10 is another person's 4. So it is what it is. But
if you threw like a PC in front of you, put you on round 29 in a CS match where y'all were up 14, 13, like there's a chance you're getting hype at that point.
Yeah, getting hyped. Again, it's the beauty of video games is it's hard to mimic the rush of the competitiveness, right? Any competition, even while playing hockey or something, I'll get hyped. I just need competition. I need to make someone lose. That's what I need. It's not even so much about me winning.
I think growing up playing sports and then obviously transitioning into this esports world, it's like it's so true. I think that's why battle royales don't intrigue us the way they do for most people. It's the biggest genre in the world right now, but they can't sustain a competitive side to it to make it fair and feel super competitive. Like it feels like a casual game to me. And maybe that's one of the reasons why neither of us have just been able to like full-heartedly dive into one and stay with one for like over a year, like a lot of people have done with Warzone.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was watching Dr. Disrespect today. first time in a long time I sat down to watch someone stream that isn't like directly esports related, and he was in the Atlanta FaZe tournament. And it's a Warzone tournament. It's no real structure. They're not like they're just joining it's like for 4 hours, how many points, or I don't know how it was structured, but Warzone. They're not private lobbies or anything like that. And I think I ended up turning it off, telling myself like BR esports has just not gotten better.
It hasn't. They haven't found a way to make it work. I mean,
Funny
it's just
enough,
too much randomness to it still.
the only time I felt myself even being somewhat captivated by BR esports, Fortnite World Cup aside, because that was more about the event that captivated people than the game and play itself, let's be real, is when we were at DreamHack and they had PUBG be their main stage. Because it was all local, it wasn't online. Even
You're
then,
saying like you enjoyed that experience.
I just enjoyed it. It still wasn't like thrilling gameplay. It was people throwing grenades over hills pretty much and going from there. But I at least enjoyed the experience of knowing, okay, I'm looking at a stage right now with 100 or so people in front of me, and they are all in this game right now. Like, to me, even like if they have private servers in Warzone, which I thought they were giving that out.
They have it. It's there.
Okay, so just these people still don't use it?
Well, depending on the format, if they're doing like just 4 hours of lobbies and
Right.
everyone's around the same
It
rating.
would intrigue me more if they were like, okay, it's going to be a real Warzone tournament with all the competitors in one room. Go after it.
Yeah, that's 100% more appealing, right? Because then you can, the story building is there throughout the game, right? Because anyone they go to is somebody that people
has
know.
something to lose.
Yeah, they're.
And I think that's what it is.
Not
It's
in
like,
it for fun.
when you're in there, and it's like, even if it's a Twitch Rivals tournament, which is not esports, Twitch Rivals is not an esport. Don't even get me started on that. But at least then with these streamers, because that's typically who's in these Warzone tournaments are streamers, I've noticed. At least then the people they're playing against have something to lose. Like right now, they're playing and Dr. Disrespect is going up against some 8-year-old skipping school. And it's like, well, he's got nothing to lose, so he might push you just because. Or he might see, oh wow, that's a Dr. Disrespect as his name, I'm gonna go push him or feed or be
not
funny.
playing it in the same level as like strategy that they're putting into it when they're competing, obviously.
Right.
Like it's just going to be different.
So I don't know.
So maybe we start that off. Clutch or kick? Does BR esports ever make it?
No, I think that's a kick. I don't think BR esports will ever make it. In fact, BR esports have gone so far to where I think, looking at this very briefly, too soon review of this 3v3 arena that Apex has, that actually stands a better chance of being more of an esports success for Apex than Apex BR does.
Which is kind of crazy to think about, that they could potentially have two different variations of their game could have an esports scene, right? Because I've also heard that from other people, that this 3v3 arena mode, there's something to it. Like it plays like a competitive match, and strategy is like it's not the 100% randomness is taken out, but like still like the functions and features of a BR implemented in this small arena. So kind of cool. I'm excited to try it out. I know you and I are going to get a chance to play that this weekend, and maybe we find a night where we let everyone know when we're getting on, and just make that the community night. Honestly, is getting into some 3v3s and changing groups there. But yeah, I think that could potentially work out better than the actual BR version of the game itself.
So you also kick then that BRs aren't going to make it?
No, 100%. Like it would have happened by now. Like everybody wants to be involved in esports that's in the gaming world right now. So if they could have made it work, if Epic could have, I think Epic had the best chance of making it work. They just chose to like not go down that road, and it's been successful for them. So it's hard to knock them too much. But PUBG is also one that I think had a chance. They just needed to add an extra A to the title. It's a AA game that badly needs to be a AAA game, and it plays like they're a freaking indie developer that has no money, And so that's always been the problem with PUBG. Although I think that game had the best actual potential from just the way the game was initially set up on those first few maps that they had.
Unless we forget the H1Z1 Pro League.
Bro.
Died before it launched because the guy in charge pretty much took all the money and went to Vegas. Literally went to Vegas where the league was supposed to be set up.
See, I would give him good dude of the year because he did everybody a favor.
Yeah, he saw it and was like, no, I cannot have this. Put it all on black. I'm done. I am done. So good clutcher kick for the first one here. Second clutcher kick comes from the land of Call of Duty, or I guess just esports in general, but kind of Call of Duty. It's been rumored, Anuj, that Hector, was looking to, is it divest? Am I saying that word correctly? Divest?
Yes,
Divest?
Divest.
I feel like that's a fancy word that we should know. To divest from NRG and acquire Optic Chicago and mainly the Optic brand and franchise once more as sole proprietor.
I feel like you and I talked about this either offline or on the show one day after he acquired Optic, the brand back, that this would eventually happen. Like, that he's not going to want to make it one like big entity under NRG, and he's going to want to run this as its own brand. And so I'm like clutching the move in the sense that I think this is the right way to go. I don't think there need to be like NRG Optic. Like, I'd rather just have NRG as their own group and ownership group and teams, and then Optic. You know, if Optic wants to compete in CS:GO again or stay just in Call of Duty or whatever, you know, they want to get into Halo when the time comes. I would rather see it go that route. But I also felt like this was inevitable. Like, this was going to happen at some point. It just seemed to make the most sense. That was like the love relationship that was built between Andy Miller and Hex happened because Hex was on the quote unquote on the street, right, looking for a new job. He had just lost Optic. He needed a home in esports still because he's that type of personality. Like, he's just such a big personality. He needed to be in esports, and Andy Miller and him made a great team and did some awesome things with NRG. But now it also feels like, okay, you got what's yours back. Go do your thing. And I hope he gets that blessing from NRG to be able to do that, because that really is what feels right to me. So I clutch it, you know, should it happen.
And I mean, from the moment they acquired Optic back, NRG has been dead to Hex. Let's be real. I mean, it's not in his Twitter profile at all. He completely stopped tweeting about NRG. I mean, I really don't even see
They don't
him.
even do that duo podcast anymore.
I was just
Andy
about
Miller
to
and
say,
Hex
like,
were doing. Like, I don't remember them. I haven't seen them do one of those in a long time.
yeah, I don't see him, like, him and Andy used to banter and talk all the time on Twitter. You don't see that nearly as much as you used to. So I don't know, maybe the bromance died off a little bit now that
Corona could be part of that too, right? Because Hex is sitting here in Texas, and I think Andy is out in like Chicago
California.
or wherever he is. Yeah, he's somewhere like California, I think in the Bay Area or whatever.
Yeah, so you're
Maybe
absolutely
that's
right.
part of it, but
But I do
you're
agree,
right.
like,
There has been like a distinct disconnect between Hex and NRG since Optic came in the picture.
and this isn't a bad thing, so don't try to take it this way. Hex does not seem like the guy who likes to share. I don't think he likes to share Optic. I think he likes to say, I am Optic. Not NRG saved it and gave it to me. Not, oh, Andy gifted it to me for my birthday. You know, oh, yeah, it's me and Andy, or it's me and NRG Optic. No, he likes to say, like, this is me. This is my org. I created it, and I'm the one who puts it to bed every night. This is my org. So he just doesn't come across the guy who was going to be okay with the two orgs in one situation.
So you're clutching it as well, it sounds
No,
like.
I'm kicking it because I think he's a joke in esports. Honestly, I think Hex doesn't know what a good esport is if it bit him in the butt. And, you know, it's a shame because the TCR curse will never be lifted from that org. Never. Unless he comes on the show. That's the one rule. And he knows it. He knows the rule. Just come on the show. And then I'll think about lifting it. But until then,
is it a guaranteed lift? Like, maybe that incentivizes him more to come on the show if he knows 100%.
I will
Like,
say
especially heading into this new venture, you would want all the bad juju away from you that you can get, right? So if you're saying that the curse is 100% lifted if he comes on the show,
I'll give you 99.
okay,
I'll give you
that's not bad.
99% chance I will lift the curse if he makes right. And for those who don't know, because we always get new listeners, the reason they have a TCR curse on them is because Hex has said he will come on the show 2 times. And both times have ghosted us when it comes down to putting a final date on the calendar.
And here we are.
Conversation went beautiful all up until the great. So when do you want to do it? Crickets after that.
And think about how strong this curse is. Like people think this is a joke. He legit lost the organization because of this curse. So I would take the 99% if I were him at this point. I wouldn't be willing to risk Optic the way he was willing to risk it the first time. So he
No,
worked hard to get it back, and if he
lost the
wants to keep
org.
it,
Um, was very forgetful last year in Call of Duty League. I don't even know where Optic ended up. I think like second to last, maybe even last place. I'm not really sure, but no, it would be a shame. It would be a shame if esports ended up him being the sole owner of Optic, but we'll see. We'll see. Next clutcher kick here is a coaching change in CS. And I on social media, I feel like this one is all over the place. Like some people were shocked, some people were like, "Yeah, no shit." A Adren rejoins Liquid as Moses is dropped.
yeah, I mean this one's a little weird because I just figured Moses would be there a little bit longer. Like these were career altering moves that Henry G and Moses made. And I say that because they were both at the top of their game in the casting world in Counter-Strike. Like there wasn't really the ceiling wasn't much higher, right? They were already doing majors, they were getting all the events. So when they made those moves to go become general managers or coaches of these teams, I looked at those as really long term plays. Henry G, we saw how that Colossus became a disaster. Um, and now Moses, I feel like it's actually gone pretty decent for them because they did have the addition of Fallen during his time there. And that's always big, as well as Twist departing. Like losing Twist is also just astronomical. Just such a huge move for him to walk away. Obviously, Grim being on the roster is newer in the sense to it, the tier one scene. So I thought Moses did okay. However, I'm going to clutch this, Tim, because Liquid did have their heyday with Adren as coach. And maybe a part of that is Adren is not the necessarily the vocal leader type and not the rah-rah in your face, where I could see Moses and Zeus both being that way, during the last couple of years with them. I don't want to say it was their best time because their best time was the Intel Grand Slam that they had under Zeus, but they had some really good moments with Adren. Fallen and Adren also have a history together in the sense Adren was playing and did well in matches against Fallen, where he came in as a stand-in one time and completely owned the server. So like there's some history and respect there. I think this works. I think Liquid's trying to look back at some of the past and see like, hey, this was a pretty good situation. He put in the work, but yet he didn't control the room. And with a bunch of veteran players, maybe this is the type of guy that they need. So I'm gonna clutch the move, although I was also surprised because I did think Moses was gonna be there for. I just thought he would be there longer.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same sentiment. Surprised, but also not surprised because Liquid has been up and down, and I guess that's when you would think to make the change. But like you said, with Moses, with the way the teams prop them up and everything, it's just weird that they let them go unless there was more discussion behind closed doors, obviously, that we don't know. But just like yourself, I love the pickup from Adrent. First off, you can't really see it. I think it's out of frame. Oh yeah, it's definitely out of frame. I have Adrent's autograph from the major. So
There you go.
Instantly,
Relevant again.
instantly a legend. Saw him while we were leaving the stadium. But also, I think as this is probably more because with esports in general and Counter Strike more or less, I think this is more a thing. You kind of need the coach to really blend well with the players. Like in traditional sports, I guess in some team locker room relationships, that's how it is, but not all the time, right? Like Bill Belichick, I don't think is buddies with a lot of the players and stuff. It's just the way he coaches, and some players like the in your face type of coach and things like that. But I think as the team changes, as the landscape changes, you need to have your coach fit that landscape. And right now, with where Liquid is at, they're not at the top of their game. They're not as confident. They don't need, and not like Moses is like screaming in your face. I don't think I've ever heard Moses really yell or get upset, but they need that kind of that home feel comfort vibe, in my opinion.
More of a calming presence.
Yeah, and I think Adren is a perfect fit for this. I also think the way Adren coach is very off hands, right? And what did I say when Fallen joined this squad?
Hands off.
You have to be hands off. Like, if you're trying to sit here and tell Fallen what to do, he's going to look at you in your face and just laugh at you. Like, Fallen's been around long enough. He's been one of the best IGLs in the history of CSGO. He doesn't need to be told what to do, right? He just kind of needs the, I guess, more information than anything. So to me, and Adren is very hands off. He's a very even in interviews, they'll be like, "Oh, so what did you do to prep the team?" Nothing. Like they kind of did it all.
Well, like he scouts out the previous games, right?
Right.
And like tendencies that the other, like you said, he provides information. Like he was more data analytics and providing information and helping counter strat that way. So helping with strategy behind the doors, but he's not one that's going to jump in the middle of a match and call a timeout and then try and change the structure of the game. Like that's not what he's going to be. He's not doing round by round calling type scenario. So I I agree. Like I think I like the move. I think it fits. It does feel good a little bit, right? Like having a Dren back. I am super curious now. Like Henry G and Moses, what's the play? Just really curious, right? Like, do they come back into casting? You think, or
I mean, I think
is
for a
it
paycheck, right? I don't know if the I would almost feel like with Henry G, you almost have to go back to like, or you'd want to go back to trying to be a coach or GM somewhere just to prove to people that you can do it, because Cloud9 was such a miserable failure. You kind of want to not like Moses, he had success at Liquid, right? Henry G never. I mean, the most success
he's
he had
not
was
getting another GM call? Is what you're saying?
what's that?
He's not getting another GM call anytime soon.
No, like Moses,
Yeah.
I could see people going to him and saying like, "Hey, we want to pick you up as a coach," right? Henry G, no one's calling him to be like, "Dude, can you please rework our roster? We just loved what you did with Cloud9 so much. The way you gave and tweeted out the player salaries, wow, game changing, so huge." No one's doing that for Henry G. So I think Henry G wants to come back to try to give it another shot. But I think ultimately you're just going to see him casting once more. Now, the question is for both of them. Is it in CS? Or does Moses kind of look over and say, I could probably coach Valorant. I could probably give this thing a go.
Or maybe they go cast in Valorant.
True.
Like, not to say Valorant doesn't have good casters, but these guys are also professional casters themselves who've done a very good job. That
Yeah, if you're
there's
looking for some,
probably room for them in that ecosystem.
yeah, some
I
free
think with
agent top
CS a little bit,
casters.
like they would get welcomed back into CS, obviously, but you're also going to be affecting your friends' livelihoods at that point because there's only so many big events, and there's only so many big events where like that many extra casters are needed, right? So who would that affect? It's probably not affecting Sponge or something, but it could affect like a Launders and a Scrawny, like maybe the number of events that they're getting, or um, shit, I'm drawing blanks on some of this. The British duo that's drawing a blank in my mind right now. Damn, names are really drawing a blank.
The
Anyways,
ESL
but
Pro
yeah,
League guys?
yeah, yeah. It doesn't matter. So like, I mean, at the end of the day, I definitely could see them both. I think the play is for both of them to come back into casting because they were so damn good at it. Like I would be happy to see them both back.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So we both said what's it? Clutch on the move, yeah.
Yeah.
Next one here, clutch or kick. These are two. It's 2 for 1 here.
The
map
Pool special.
Yep, map pool special. Ancient is replacing Train in the Counter-Strike map rotation. And even though they were pretty firm on it, Riot has announced that they are going to remove Breeze from the map pool of the upcoming Masters. So clutch or kick on both of these. I'll take the ball here to start. I'm kicking both of these. We're square in the nuts. I hate both of these. Not the fact that Ancient is coming in, because I will never be upset with Valve for trying to make more maps and add them in, right? We've been asking them every day for pretty much the last 5 years to do something like that. So I'm not poo-pooing that. I am kicking the fact, though, that they chose to take out Train of all maps. Train has already been reworked since the reworks have started. So to take it out again, I felt like no one was really complaining about it to be taken out. Maybe like a tweak here and there, but nothing that would warrant taking it out. Whereas Mirage, no one likes to play. I mean, mainly because of the fact, like, we don't even play Mirage just because we've played it how many times? 1 million? Right? Like, everyone has played that map to death, and it hasn't changed at all. I think that and what was it? Someone said on Discord, I forget what it was. Overpass, maybe? Two maps, though. Mirage is one of them that has not been touched since release.
No, Overpass has had the biggest overhaul.
Maybe Inferno.
I'll get into that more
Inferno's
on when I start talking about it. But Overpass has had a very large overhaul. Overpass was a horrendous map when it came into the map pool. It looks very different today than it did when it first came out. Overpass was seriously the worst map in CS when it launched, and I feel like today it really does play like one of the better maps that we have.
I love Overpass, but I don't like the fact that they took out. It should have been Mirage. Everyone thought it was going to be Mirage. I feel like we just watched the entire season of The Bachelor, and they gave the rose to the wrong girl. Like, everyone thought it was going to be her, and it wasn't, and now it's ruined. So I do not like that move. Do you want to go over yours first, and then we can get into Breeze?
Just do both, knock both yours out, and then I'll jump in.
And then I also kick the fact that they're taking out Breeze. And I've found out on Twitter that is not a popular opinion. But they say 4 weeks is not long enough for the pros, and that's what they took a majority vote, and they all said that. That's bullshit. 4 weeks is plenty of time to learn a map enough to play. Now, is it going to be perfection? No. Are you going to know every strat and counter strat and what box to look over and where's the angle? No. But you're going to know enough to play it. This isn't rocket science here. It's figuring out a map enough to play. Now, if you want to veto it, That's fine. That's what it's there for. But, Anuj, if a quarterback gets traded mid-season, they don't put the season on hold for him to learn a new playbook. He goes in and plays, right? If a player gets traded, they go in and play. They don't go, oh, hold on, coach. I don't know this playbook like the back of my hand. What's going on here? You play. We know it's not going to be perfect, but 4 weeks for a professional to not have any. It's just they get on Breeze and they're like, oh my God, where's the bomb sites at? I have no idea where these are at. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that they're taking this out and acting like it's just this most impossible task to learn a map enough. If you and I can figure out strats with 3 other randos and one doesn't even have a mic, and if we can figure out strats enough in our little matchups, I'm pretty sure a pro team who does this for a living can figure something out in 4 weeks.
Fair enough. And I'm going to give you my take here. You're probably going to surprise you a little bit. At least we're finally different somewhere, right? I'm actually clutching both of these plays.
Both.
And I'll tell you why here. I'm going to start off in Counter-Strike with Ancient replacing Train. Although I would have preferred it to be Mirage, Train is the least played map in casual gameplay. Train is the least played map in competitive gameplay. For whatever reason, I couldn't tell you. I think Train's a great map. I enjoy playing it, but not the most user friendly when it comes to pugs generally, because the callouts are traditionally a little bit more specific, especially if you don't play the map a lot. Knowing where the colors of the trains are, it's not, somebody saying green might not be enough information for you to know exactly where to look, right? But truth be told, it's just the least played map in casual gameplay. The highest played map in casual gameplay is Mirage. And I think that's probably pretty close from a competitive standpoint too. I'm sure Mirage rates really high.
Man, I feel like it
Um,
is. Yeah, I feel like on the
what
pro scene, it's Mirage every time.
what I would have preferred that they had done is done 2 maps in this rotation. Bring Cash into the map pool, bring Cobble back. Like, what have y'all been doing with Cobble for the last 2 years now? Roughly, it's been kind of on the bench and not really been a good map. And they could have done like a double switch here. And I would have liked that more. But I do get this. Ancient's not perfect right now. I've only played 2 games on it, and one was when it was in the first, like, rotational thing that they when they first introduced it. Um, it's an okay map. It's going to get a lot better as it we have to force the players to play the map to know how to fix the map. That's where Overpass comes into play. Overpass was terrible when it came out. They kept on adjusting it, kept on making changes to the bomb site. Go look at the original bomb sites for Overpass, Tim, and you'd be like, oh my God, like this is what they were. Like this is how these bomb sites were set up. And they're 100 times better now. So I do think the same will happen with Ancient, but they had to force it on us to make it good. It's not great right now, but it's not terrible. It'll get better. And I think this is the way to do that. So I'm okay with I'm okay with Valve doing this because we've been desperately in need of an updated map pool. This is a small step in the right direction. I would like a little bit more, but I'm having a hard time kicking it because I am okay with the general direction that this play went. Like, as much as I like seeing Train, we just don't see it often. So not really that big of a loss. And then in the pug side, we never play Train unless we literally are the ones in charge of picking the map on Face It or
This
something.
is
Then
true.
maybe we get lucky and it doesn't get banned. So I'm okay there.
I will say on the train side, if they are fixing it, I do think B site needs more work than A.
Yeah, I think it just it might not even have to be a huge overhaul. Like Train could easily come back in a few months, and then we see a Mirage swap, or maybe that's where like a Tuscan or a Cobble gets reintroduced. Like they have some options. They just need to like move a little bit quicker. Valve is just too effing slow at everything they do. I mean, it's just embarrassingly slow for such a big game. Um, but at least this is something. Like we got to be happy with our small wins because we just don't get many of them.
No, yeah.
Um,
And you're right. This honestly should be like no longer than a month. Like the map's already
what do you
there.
mean?
You're tweaking it. Like maps should not be out of the rotation for more than a month.
Yeah, I mean, well, a train's going to be gone for at least
Oh,
6 months,
I mean, we might
6
not
months to
see
a
that
year
for another
easily.
year.
But if they bring on other maps, I'm okay with Train being on the bench for a while. Like if Train's gone for a year, but we still have another map come in and replace something else, like that's fine with me. Because I think the number of maps is actually pretty good that they use in the rotation and the way the draw is done. So
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
okay
mind
with
the
that.
number of maps because
I just want the pool to be a little bit fresher than it is. It feels
yeah.
very stale. So for me, that's a clutch. On the other end, for Valorant, Breeze not being in the VCT Masters. Initially, I was a little irritated when I read that because I really just wanted to see the map in there, almost from a selfish reason. I enjoy the map. I enjoy playing the map. We've played it more than a handful of times now, and I've liked all of my games on there. Win or lose, I've had a good time on the map. So, from my personal interest, yes, I was disappointed to see it be ejected. Then I thought, well, why would the players not want to play this map? Couple different things here came to mind. A, take out a week for just travel and media relation stuff that's going to take place for VCT when they initially get there. It's one of the first big LAN events for any esport. It's the first big LAN event for Valorant. You can expect a lot of I'm sure Riot's going to be filming a lot of stuff. They're going to have some production stuff that they're going to want to do. So let's just take out 1 week out of the 4 weeks that they have available. Then these teams are all playing new competition, right? It's only one team from your region. Then there's 5 other teams there that you've never played against before. Probably haven't even watched them too much unless you're really staying up at odd hours. So now you have to put in your research on how are these different regions even playing? Like the meta is not the same from region to region. They kind of all do their own thing. So you have to put in now a lot of homework into not only strategizing your approach, but making counter strats, figuring out how to stop. This is what their meta is. We're not used to playing against these agents. They have to practice that. Like all of that stuff just takes time. And then if you add a new map into that, that's a whole nother piece of the equation that can maybe even level the playing field a little bit because it'll be new to everybody. But I get the decision. As long as after this event, it's in the map rotation, I can live with that. Like it's not even in the competitive map rotation right now in game for another week, right? I think there's
Right.
one more week of just unranked 24/7 play. So it's not even available for like ranked play. There's no third party system set up to where they can go in and scrim these maps like as much as they want unless they're finding other teams to set up private servers against. So I'm okay with this. Don't love it, but I don't hate it enough to kick it. So I have a little bit of understanding of why that decision was made and why the players wouldn't want to do it. So I'll give them a pass here, but bring it in right after because I love the hell out of the map and I'm excited to see it in competitive play.
Yeah, and I understand why the players don't want it. I'm just saying I would like to see. I don't know. For me, I'd almost like to see a little sloppy play.
They did that already with Icebox, right? They kind of forced that out there initially when it first came out. I think it came out in the middle of some event that was happening and they pushed it in and that was it's pretty tough. They pushed that in, I think, even with a much shorter window. I think an active event was happening, and they're like, "Hey, we're introducing it in the next round next week." So maybe there were some frustrations that took place with that. Um, and they're listening to the players. Like at the very least, they gave them an option.
Yeah.
Like they let them decide. And for what's at stake and what's on the line for like the biggest event of 2020 and 2021 for Valorant, I get it. I can live with that.
And then last but not least on clutch or kick, going back to the CDL. We discussed it a couple episodes ago. Huke being dropped by Dallas Empire, for reasons what seems to be more personality, locker room issues rather than skill. Well, it definitely seems like that is the for sure cause of it because it's been announced that Huke has signed with 100 Thieves, or we should just say LA Thieves. Sorry, don't want to copyright. Can't have the same orgs in the league, Anuj. Sorry.
Phase thieves.
Definitely not the normal FaZe clan, though. This is Atlanta FaZe. Definitely not Thieves, 100 Thieves. Replaces TJ Hawley.
Yeah, I mean, man, tough. We're Dallas homers. You guys know that. We just had a championship. You guys know that. To me, massive clutch for 100 Thieves. Massive W for them. You are getting a very talented player, if not one of the best hardpoint players this year, proven champion, somebody that you can rely on to come in and do his job. He's got one of the best KDs overall on hardpoint. TJ was no slouch. I'm sure this was actually a pretty tough decision because TJ is one of the best subs in the league. But you're getting a chance to get Huke here. I don't think they could have passed it up. I think this is an awesome move for an LA Thieves team that just coming off a good win against Optic last week. This is, I think, only going to make them better and give them a little bit more of an opportunity to compete for those top 2 spots. Huge kick for Dallas. I don't know. I guess like I have to wait for this to come out and really clarify that this had to have been a personality issue. That's what it seems like from our perspective looking in. But I'm at a loss for how they let it get to that point so quickly. Because this was not a team that was on the struggle bus. This was a team that was sitting in second place the whole year. Granted, was it perfect? No, but they were finding a way to win enough games to stay at the top of the standings for the most part, outside of Atlanta, who's also slipped recently. So huge L for Dallas, huge W for 100 Thieves. I think this is just a great move. And interesting enough, the two people that were beefing on Twitter not too long ago are now the ones that are. It just shows they can live with business and personal in different worlds here, right? They might have had some Twitter beef going on just a couple weeks ago, and they were able to make a deal to transfer one of the best talents in COD League over to their org. So props for 100 Thieves and Nade Shot and those guys for pulling it off. But this is going to be a stellar move for them going into the second half of the season.
Very much. I think we were just talking about, was it Device last episode or 2 episodes ago when Device joined NIP and they had to drop a player, but it was kind of like, well, buddy, we got Device right here. Like, what do you want us to do? This is kind of that same situation, right? Like TJ Hall, Thieves have been on the uptick. They've been on the upswing. Struggled at the early on in the season, but with the latest stage performance and stuff, they've been performing really well. So to make a roster move, it had to be a roster move that they felt like this could take us to the next level and almost lessen the inconsistency, right? This is that move. This puts 100 Thieves or LA Thieves, whatever the hell you want to call them, this puts them, I think, on that next plateau with, I would almost say, like Chicago, right? Like, because anytime we talk about the teams, I feel like we always have Atlanta obviously being like top tier, and then Dallas below them, and then it's like that third is always either like Chicago or a team that
New York or somebody.
Yeah, that third kind of seems to be in rotation. I think you can now put 100 Thieves in that third slot tentatively.
Well, so I honestly, now my whole thing has changed on that because I don't put Dallas as the sole number 2 team in the league. I think you have Atlanta FaZe, and then you have that next grouping, right? And Dallas, to me, has taken that step back to fall into that grouping with Toronto Ultra, Optic Chicago, New York Subliners, 100 Thieves, even hell, like I don't think Minnesota Rocker is like that far behind. So I really think you have Atlanta FaZe, and now you have everybody else. This is not Atlanta FaZe in Dallas and defend the throne, and we're the best team that there is. People will now not fear that championship as much because you truly have let go massive pieces of your team and Clayster and Huke now. It's not the same team from last year. So I I think this groups them all together. I think Dallas is still a phenomenal team. I think they still have a chance of winning it, but there's not that separation in my mind between them and like this large portion of the rest of the league.
So either way, though, yeah, I agree. It is a huge clutch and a huge pickup because again, I think it was just a personality thing. So I don't think there's any risk of like, oh, is he good? Is he not? And I think who knows for a player like Huke, it might just be a change of scenery, right? It just might be as simple as that. A change of scenery.
It's just weird because he's the one that brought Shotzi and Illy over. Like they were all three, like the three amigos. That's why they were having to let go of Clayster because those three were a package deal to play together. So it was basically Clay or Krim that they had to let go. And now to see Huke walking away, how bad did it get? I mean,
It
how
must have
bad
gotten
did it
pretty
get?
rough.
Like, that's got to be crazy. I need to get some more information around this. Maybe we start digging a little bit, but I'm just so curious as to how this fell apart
Like
so fast.
this had to have been like in match drama for it to get like this.
I mean, in match drama that even potentially became like personal, right? Like you started not liking playing with somebody, and that carried over into like I'm not liking you right now. And hey, look, it's Call of Duty. Anything can happen. Rosters can flip in a heartbeat. It's just rare that you see a championship team who's come back with the same roster then to make a switch not even halfway through the season. Like that's a little bit rare in how that went down.
Yeah. So there you have it. There is clutch or kick. Some titillating decisions being made. Real quick, before we move on to e-news, if we could backtrack to one of those. I had a question for you. I forget what it was, though. I forget. Ignore what I said. I think I was going to ask you about Apex if you played the 3-on-3 yet, but I think you said you hadn't.
Not yet. No.
Not yet, right? Okay, we'll have to play that then. All right, so there you go. Ignore everything I just said. There is Clutch or Kick. Let's get on to some e-news here real quick. E-news brought to you by Philly Esports. PhillyEsports.net is where you need to go and sign up for their monthly events where you can win cash prizes. Sign-ups is, I want to say, always free. I don't think I've ever seen them charge for a tournament sign-up. It is online, so you don't have to be in the Philadelphia area to sign up. For May 22nd, Saturday, May 22nd, they are hosting a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate one-on-one tournament. Get this, it will be double elimination. So easy to go. Sign up there online. PhillyEsports.net. Good dudes there, and if you want to kind of break into the scene, this might be the way to do it. So PhillyEsports.net. E-news. Here's e-news. In e-news and CSGO, ESL announced that for the upcoming DreamHack Masters on Twitch, they will be having an option to where you can check out individual players' point of views.
Love it. Clutch 110%.
Yeah. So, funny enough, because I saw some people saying this on Twitter that it's revolutionary. Overwatch always did this when they were on Twitch. I don't think they figured out a way to do it on YouTube yet, but they always did this on Twitch. You had to like pay extra money, it's like 10, 15 bucks for the season or whatever, and you can get all these different features. And I always did it. Awesome.
Yeah, no, this is like much needed. I mean, gosh, you're going to have the best teams in the world here, and you're going to get to pick and choose who you want to watch. I'm super excited for it.
And it's also great for all those people who bitch and moan about the observers missing a kill. Well, now you have a chance to realize how hard it is.
Show me you can do it better.
Right. So here you go. Here's your chance. But it's awesome because especially if you're a player and say, I mean, even a casual player, and maybe you play with your buddies and you typically take on the entry fragger role. Well, now you can go watch a team's entry frag, right? If you IGL and you want to see where does Fallen typically play at while he's IGLing, right? Does he play any different than maybe when he's not IGL? You can do that, and it's awesome. Like, I learned so much while playing Overwatch while only watching the tanks play. So it's really great. Really awesome for that to do. And I think they said free, right? They're not charging for it.
I don't think so, yeah.
So I think this is just kind of a test run to see how it works. In Valorant news, Dignitas has announced that they will be hosting a Game Changers NA tournament. The 32 top women Valorant teams, Anuj.
That's pretty awesome that they're like, again, we've seen all the announcements come out for all these orgs diving into Valorant on the women's side, and so it was only a matter of time before organizers started getting behind it and pushing out some bigger events. This is a big event. Like 32 teams is a lot of team, men's or women's. So we'll see how deep the pool goes, but we know there's a handful of teams that are competitive. So, you know, it should be interesting to watch.
I'm curious to see the difference in style, if there is any. Because I remember for the longest time, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's been a while since I've seen like a female Counter-Strike match. But for the longest time, like oddly enough, the play styles were completely different. Like even from like the guns they selected to buy were completely different than like men's Counter-Strike.
But that's changed in female Counter-Strike now. Like that's not.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a while.
Like female Counter-Strike now, the meta is virtually the same.
Yeah.
Like there is really no difference.
It's just interesting to see, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't read into it at all. I'm just saying. There was a joke to where if someone used a P90 in Counter-Strike, you knew they were a female player because that's the only people who used them. But something note. I just want to see. In stage 3 of VCT, it's been announced that it will be on land. It will be offline in Berlin, September 9th through the 19th.
Yeah, great location. Got to wait a little while for it to come up, but that's pretty cool.
And this is the third and final stage, I believe, in the VCT atmosphere.
And then we get a second strike after that to end the year.
Yeah, I won't lie to you, Anuj. Every time they announce something on VCT, I think I understand it, and then they make an announcement, and I'm like, wait, there's more? Like, what? There's another qualifier? So who automatically gets in stage 3? Oh, it's all over again? Like, we're starting from square one? We have to go through the drama of if Sentinels is going to qualify again?
Thing is, like, I don't even want to get too invested in learning all these formats until the league comes out, you know?
Well, I know, right? You don't want to hurt your brain too much because, and by the time this is all said and done, we're just going to have a league anyways, and you only have to worry about 12 teams or whatever, however many it may be. But Berlin's a lot easier to say than the Iceland one. I still laugh because, like, no one says the name.
It's the Iceland event.
Reykjavik? I don't even know how you'd say it, but everyone just says we're going to Iceland. Oh, we're masters in Iceland.
I think the J is silent in the word.
Reykjavik? I have no idea.
We'll YouTube it after.
I'll prefer the Iceland event. How about that? And in TSM finally made a roster move. Cutler has been benched. So I guess this means Brax is official in?
Sure. Yeah, for now, we'll see what works for them. They needed to make a move. We talked about this several times, and we knew it would either be Cutler or, potentially Hayes, but we thought it would be Cutler for a while now. So not overly surprising. Once Brax became the 6th man, it was just a matter of time before he became the 5th. So,
in Call of Duty news, E-United, this is rumored, reportedly, per sources, E-United have proposed a merger with Optic Gaming in a move that would see Optic Gaming, Optic Chicago, and E-United under one ownership group. Now, the caveat to this, which also seemed like the most not news ever, is immediately as the reporter puts this out there in the same tweet, 2 lines under this says, but it probably won't happen.
Yeah, it's like E-United proposed the merger. If this was Optic proposing the merger to E-United, then I'd be like, yeah, this is probably happening. But, I can't go and propose a merger to Joe Rogan and expect him to take it right now with podcast. So
go report on that. The Center Ring is proposing a merger with the Joe Rogan podcast.
I think this is a way for E-United to get their name out there and let it be known that they are open to a merger. So maybe somebody else comes into play, because E-United is not a small organization, right?
No, but they did take a hit by not being in the Call of Duty.
Any of this, like, now they're not in Counter-Strike. They're not in the Call of Duty League.
Rocket League, I think. United. What are they in nowadays? Let's look them up. Gears of War. So they're in nothing. Okay.
Yeah, so they're not competing.
They have a Rocket League, Valorant, and Gears of War. So Rocket League would be their biggest, and I mean Valorant, but they don't even have a team on their website. So yeah, it's they've seen better days. They've really hurt when CWL went away because they did not get in the Call of Duty League, and it's just kind of been by the wayside. And they had a big following in Call of Duty too. So
they won the championship with Clayster and them just the year before. Clayster
last year, right? Last year in CWL.
Yeah, last year CWL.
Yeah, the last year of CWL. You're right. In other COD news, Activision confirmed it. Sledgehammer Games will be the lead developer for Call of Duty 2021. In other breaking news, we have another Call of Duty already in 5 months.
Yeah, it's not that close, but it's
like
close enough to where you can start mentioning who the developer is, and people will start caring about that information right now.
Felt like Cold War just came out. Doesn't it feel that way?
It does. Honestly, my mind is so much more towards, I'm hoping Battlefield comes out with a really big reveal here pretty soon. It's rumored that it could even be tomorrow potentially. So I'm right now, my mind is on the Battlefield bus and what are they going to bring out versus what's coming out in 6 months for Call of Duty. Like, I don't care right now.
And we all know what it's going to be.
It's gonna be Call of Duty.
It's going to be Call of Duty, no ranked at the start. Awful hit reg. Same old with Warzone. And Decimate replaces Looney in the starting lineup for the Seattle Surge. So there you have it.
Really have no comment there yet.
League of Legends, Riot has announced that they have a new up-and-coming anime called Arcane. It is planned to release fall of this year on the Netflix.
Gonna take Dota's spot again.
I know. You think Valve is like, what the hell, Netflix? Like, I thought we had something. I thought we had a relationship.
You've already done this once. We came out with the game, and you came out with the one right after. Couldn't give us at least a season before you came out with your own. So I'm actually more excited, obviously, for the League of Legends one, because that's the world that I followed at least somewhat closer than I have Dota. So I know the players, at least, or characters, I guess you could say. So I am more excited for that. Plus, the Dota one doesn't, this sounds so stupid, doesn't have visual appeal to me watching it. Like, it's just very, like, boring on the eyes. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's not visually appealing to me. So I think League of Legends will be the polar opposite of that, and I'm hoping for that. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. We'll see.
I watched the Dota one all the way through, and I was happy with it at the end. I'm looking forward to season 2. The thing that bothered me with it is it was one of those shows where, like, at the end of season 1, you realize that it was only just to lead up to season 2. Like, looking back, nothing really happened in season 1. It was just for the big lead up to this whole thing that you've been waiting for, and then they told you, but it's going to happen in season 2. And you're like, okay.
That's how karate. That's how Cobra Kai is, Tim. If you watch that.
No, but I've heard it's good.
I love it. But every freaking season's the lead up to the next season.
Yeah. So it's like one of those, like, underlining stories that happens the whole way, and then it finally builds up, and you're like, damn it. Like, this would have been nice.
Gotta wait a year.
Would have been nice. Speaking of good shows, just because we're on the topic, Invincible on Amazon, if you have not watched it.
I've heard it's really good.
Awesome.
I haven't watched it yet.
Awesome. Animated like the old, like, Superman shows. Like Batman, Superman, those old WB shows.
I've heard good things. I've seen some stuff on Twitter and all that about it. I'll have to check it out.
Really good. That one's good. And it's over now, so you can, like, binge watch it and be done with it. But it's awesome. So anyways, League of Legends coming to Netflix. We'll watch it. We'll give our review. Go from there. Battle Royale news. Anuj, thoughts and prayers for Epic because they failed to meet their planned revenue goal. Reportedly in 2000, I think the article said 2019, because today was the first date of Apple versus Epic with the lawsuit. You remember that whole thing that was happening, like what feels like ages ago that people cared about and then didn't?
Still going on.
Yes. So it's still going on, and now all the dirty laundry is getting out there. Epic failed to meet revenue goals by $154 million. Their goal was $4.59 billion. Instead, they only earned $4.2 billion.
I honestly think we should all take a moment of silence and pray that the children of Epic employees and leadership are able to eat tonight. That's all I can think about is I hope those kids have food on the table after that company just earned $4.2 billion. That is massive compared to what Epic was doing before Fortnite came out.
Oh, yeah.
These numbers, I mean, we think Bobby Kotick's bonus was about to be big. Sweeney and these guys are doing pretty damn good over there at Epic.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the head. It was written by Jacob Wolf, of all people. But man, I was like, that is a click, because the title was Epic failed to meet planned revenue by blah, blah, blah million. And you're like, damn, that's a lot of money. And then, like, in the first paragraph, instead they earned $4.2 billion. I'm like, oh, that's some clickbait for you.
Yeah, they're okay.
They're doing okay. They're doing okay. Apex, we mentioned it before. Apex Legends Season 9 is out. So we'll probably be on it this weekend. So if you want
a little bit of a review, probably next episode once we get a chance.
Yeah, we want to try that 3v3 arena out that we've heard so much. Also, I want to try it before skill-based matchmaking gets in.
important.
Because apparently it's not skill-based matchmaking, and some games are just a slaughter because you are up against really bad people. So,
I bet we'll be one of the ones getting slaughtered in that game too at times.
at times, but at least for a little bit, I get to feel like a pro. And in other news, it's been announced that PlayStation is partnering with Discord. They will be working with in-game, in-console features and everything with Discord, which I don't know where that puts the rumor of Microsoft buying out Discord, but
They can still keep that partnership
Yeah.
there to make it like it's just revenue towards Microsoft at the end of the day. But I do like that idea. Like,
Discord needs to be on consoles.
Yeah.
As someone who plays on PC, if I could talk to my buddies, especially since games are becoming more and more cross-play.
It's more and more crucial to have a feature where we can all communicate without some of the wacky shit that we've had to do in the past to
Oh
be able
my
to talk.
god, being on phones and playing with friends while they're on a speakerphone or
It's just terrible.
yeah. So yeah, any time a Discord can merge onto another console, worth it. All right, so this weekend, let's say Saturday, maybe Friday, we'll keep everyone updated in Discord, but maybe a little community night. We'll say a casual community night, because we don't know the date and we don't know the time yet, but we know we will be on at some point this weekend. And when that happens, we'll alert the Discord. So then you can hop in and play. Maybe we'll get some 3-on-3s going if that's a thing in Apex. Definitely get some 10-mans going in Valorant. We'll play Breeze because we're not afraid like the pros are. We'll play the map. Maybe they can learn something from us. So that's this weekend, Friday or Saturday. Sunday is Mother's Day, so I don't think we'll be able to convince the wives on that one, but you never know. Maybe they'll let us on before the show. Because we run the house, Anuj. We run the house. And,
Hold on.
So that's
run
it.
the house.
Episode 326. It's done. It's in the books. Thanks to Alt and Philly Esports for sponsoring the show. Follow us on Discord and on Twitter at The Center Ring. For Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see you next time. Perfecto. Man, oh man.
What's up?
Oh, nothing. All right, everyone in chat, I'm gonna kill the stream so we can get to editing this. If you're in the chat, we'll talk to you in Discord. Also talk to you this weekend though. Get on for some community night action. Peace.